Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Real Top Show. Welcome to the Real Top Show. Today, I'm going to be interviewing one of my favorite entrepreneurs, Kostas Kritikos. His entrepreneurial journey and laser-targeted focus on the core mission, vision, and values for his family, aka team members, is something that I truly admire and want to dive into today. Kosta is the co-owner of one of the most admired and fastest-growing companies in the commercial construction space, specializing in custom millwork and specifically painting. First Nick Companies is based here in Boston with over 100 team members. They've been working on some of the biggest developments in New England. So if you see one of these high rises and it looks beautiful, Kosta and his team are responsible. Kosta, thank you for coming on the show today.
Nikitas, thanks for having me, buddy. Definitely don't know what to expect, but looking forward to it.
Oh man, just expect everything. So I wanted to, you and I have had this conversation, but I wanted to share with the listeners right now a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey. You've got a really cool story, how First Nick was created, a family business. So I want you to kind of jump in the time machine, take us back to how this company and how this team started.
Man, it's always weird talking about it. I'm not going to lie. You never put yourself in predicaments like this or situations like this. So I apologize right out of the gate if anything comes out wrong. But obviously, we're first generation here, probably just like a lot of the Greeks in the community. My father basically had a residential painting company here back in like the early 80s, going into the 90s, and born and raised in Somerville. So he typically just worked those areas. And what he would do is typically work during the summer, save as much as he can during the summer and get us through the winter and then back at it. And slowly, whatever was left over, he would just focus on the family. So for us, it was just, growing up, being involved. He would take us in his trucks and get us involved and have us cleaning paintbrushes and doing all the day-to-day sort of stuff, working with his workers and opening up our mindset and what he did on a day-to-day. And to believe it or not, we actually enjoyed it. It got us out of the house. And, for us, we're amazed sitting in my dad's red truck and just hanging out and doing all the riding and watching him be the boss and then try bossing other people around. Be like, no, you can't do that.
This was you and your brother Nick, right?
Nick later on, obviously myself. I have two other brothers. Nick at that time, me and him have like 3 years difference. So obviously the age gap. So I ended up going out there first a little bit. And then as we got older, we both went out. I thought, at that point, obviously any Greek family wants their kids to learn Greek and get involved in the Greek communities and the traditions and stuff like that. So when we were out of school, we got used to going to Greece. Like, dude, Dad, I don't want to work. Like, Jesus, I did this all winter, So, we would go to Greece typically every other summer, every, third summer, be with the family there. But then during the winters and our off summers, we would definitely be tagging along and learning the trade and learning how our dad operated and learning that sort of thing. But, I'm not going to lie. We never thought that we would be in the business at that age, or never thought that we would be ever involved in taking it to where we wanted to take it. It was just another day. Back then things were a lot different, right? So we didn't have that many family members here. So it was like just us tagging along. And I think that's probably one of our core values, which has become family, is, we learned it from my dad. Work hard, waking up in the morning and nothing's going to be hand delivered to you. And obviously, I think a lot of people can relate to that in our generation where our parents came from Greece or migrated there and stuff like that. So I think there's a lot of similarities with any industry that they went into. I think it was just that hard work ethic and family values and being involved with our church communities and stuff like that kept everything like tight and bonded. So
I love your I love your journey. I relate to it in a lot of ways. You and I met, just to give you guys, the listeners, a little background. Kosta and I met formally, I would say, about a month ago. And we got into talking about marketing and business and all this cool stuff. And then we went down this rabbit hole, and come to find out, and this is totally by chance, evidently, talked about a similar background. Kosta's dad came here around the time my dad came here. We're one side of our family's from the exact same island in Greece. And you're talking about hundreds and hundreds of inhabited islands in Greece. And not only are our families from the same island in Greece, they happen to be from the same freaking village in Greece, which has less than 500 people. That's the population there. So we went to the same college, spent the same amount of time there, kind of the whole bit. And that clicked. Your entrepreneurial journey is not an uncommon one. And I think I share it with you. And that's why I love it. And I wanted you on the show today. Kosta, tell me about like waking up as a kid and going to work. What was that like with your dad? What did he have you doing day to day?
Miserable. Are you kidding me? We had, it was funny because my mom was like my attorney. Hey, God, sit up in there, leave the kid alone, blah, blah. I'm like, wait.
Negotiated for you?
God, yeah, she was like our number one advocate, right? My God, it was like 6 o'clock. I'm like, do we really have to do this? It's like, but I guess that's what we look back now, and I think that's what give us some sort of responsibility. That's how we learned it. That's, I guess, my dad's way of teaching us in an indirect way. And don't forget, like our relationship, it was probably a lot different with our father than it was with our mother, because we did spend most of our time with our mother raising us, along with, and our dad was just more gun ho. Hello, let's go.
100%.
So I think as a community and a Greek guy, I think a lot of us can relate it in that as well, right? So, back then I didn't enjoy it. It was residential painting. I'd be going up on step ladders, cleaning paintbrushes, coming home. It was like business. You want to eat dinner? Did you finish this? So it was, just looking back, and those are actually memories that we have of it now, right? But I think that was the way our dad bonded with us. At this age, I look at it now. Back then, right? Back then, it was like, oh my God, I can't believe we're working with each other again.
What did the company look like then?
Honestly,
was it called First Nick then?
No, I think back then it was Nick and Mike's. Our first Kostas, my dad went through a few name changes back then, just because of language. My dad never knew English was not his first language. It was strictly Greek. So between having another partner when he first started, and my mother helping him out as his partner left and immigrated back to Greece. So there was a lot of changes and stuff like that. But, my dad only did residential. So during the winter, it was just nothing. Very little, wherever you can get day-to-day jobs or week-to-week jobs. And during the summer, when they did the residential exterior homes, it was, he'd build up his crews anywhere between 10, 12, 15, who knows, it all depended on what was going on and what he could do, what he could handle. So that was, it wasn't where we are today, but.
How did you, or when did you you worked for the company, sounds like your whole life, but when did you come into the company in more of a managerial or leadership role? When did that happen?
So I'm not going to lie, probably throughout high school, I started getting more involved in the family business a lot more. And probably first couple of years in college is when I really started to see a different aspect of the business. I'm in the office doing his paperwork, trying to reconcile bank statements, all that kind of stuff. I actually enjoyed it. I'm not going to lie, my dad had a great reputation with people, and his customers did love him. And I think I admired that, because at the end of the day, think about somebody who really can't speak or communicate as good as maybe we are today, is being admired and doing really good quality work for his customers in an indirect way, right? So it was like broken English. I think we all probably hear it, whether we go grab a sandwich, we've seen it in an indirect way, in a Greek business environment. I think anybody this day and age can say that, oh yeah, I know a Greek guy that speaks broken English, and I think that within itself is just a great thing to admire for anybody, right? You come here with nothing. Language is an issue, communication is an issue, but you're still pushing yourself to actually do something and provide for your family.
How important back then for your father, starting out and not having the tools of running, TV commercials. You and I talk about social media all the time and email newsletters and all this crazy stuff. And none of that existed back then, with the exception of maybe a yellow page ad, maybe a business card. But how important for your father were these, and maybe this wasn't written down and maybe it wasn't defined, but the mission, vision, values, or just straight up reputation. How important was that for your dad for his business back then?
I think it was on mission, vision, values is something completely different than what we look at today, right? Versus back then. Back then it might be, how do I survive? I got a wife, I got kids. How do I do the most amount possible in a short period of time so we can get through our winter months? We definitely had our struggles, no doubt. I think back then it's, the family dynamic kept everything together, and, that all gave us our own energy and appreciation and stuff like that. But I think for him, it was like survival. So it was, I got to make sure I can pay the bills, pay our mortgages, make sure there's food on the table, make sure the kids have clothes to go to church, all that kind of stuff. Oh my God, they're going to want to go to Greece, make sure I can buy, it was all those things indirect. I guess maybe my dad was never that kind of person that was like, we're doing this because of this. I think you just, you'd be surprised, because a lot of people probably say I don't give him as much credit, so he is getting a lot of credit today for no reason. But I think for that, when you look back at my age now and raising kids and family, you appreciate that more. Maybe back then, if you asked me this 10 years ago, I'd be like, wow, no, he's something completely different. But I think now, raising my own family and starting my own family and trying to be more involved in the business, you look back and these are indirect little things that you pick up, obviously still comes in now, and it just gives you a glimpse of the past, right?
Glimpse of the past. I'm curious, a lot of, coming from an entrepreneurial family like you, like my dad came here, he came from Greece, was in the restaurant business with a bunch of other businesses. I always dreamed about getting into the family business. My dad owned donut shops growing up, and this was my dream to take over the donut shop. It was the greatest dream for me. And my dad wouldn't let me. He was like, nope, go figure something else out. Because I don't know why. He just, he said, go do something else. He would kick me out, go to school, go do something else. And I always admired the, families that could take something, your father came here, built a business, and you're able to take over that business. But not only that, take it to the next level. So you enter into First Nick's companies, you come into this business, but not only that, you brought it to another level. A lot of people take over these family businesses, and sometimes they actually, someone's father's, hard work totally disintegrates, right? Because people sort of take advantage of it, or they take it for granted. And with you and your brother and your family, you've been able to enter this business, take it over, but take it to a whole other level. That's uncommon. The story of, our generation taking over family business, that's a very common story, but it's very uncommon for someone to take over the family business and then take it to these new heights where now, I went to one of your projects the other day. It was shocking. Over 600 apartments being painted by your team. I couldn't believe it. I've never painted my office, never mind an apartment or even 600 of anything in my whole life. And I looked at this project and I was just totally impressed and proud. And can you tell us how you and your team took what was, a family business, and you brought it to what I think is more of really a corporate business? I mean, really one of the fastest growing businesses, in New England, doing what you do. How did you transition? Well, what's the secret?
Because I'm not going to lie, I don't look at it the way that you probably look at it as an outsider. For us, it's just what do we need to do today to get through today and be successful today for either our customers or clients, right? So I think for us, it's never been a big project, a small project. It's just taking care of everybody, make sure we all have enough work to sustain ourselves, right? And I think for us, it was all the mindset. I think trying to grow the business was growing up with struggles and seeing what, we sort of went through. It wasn't like bad, but it was, you look at other people and you watch all these social media avenues and all these kinds of stuff. And, a lot of people get really pulled into,
the glamour, the shine.
Yeah,
You're an entrepreneur.
Exactly. So for us, it was never like that. Even for me, it was never like that. And I think the real question was, do I really want that future for myself and the family that I'm going to raise or I'm going to have? Do I really want that for everybody that will be within my company? Do I want that for my kids? No. The answer was very simple. It's no. It's no. And it's not living this lifestyle that's super glamorous. It's just having the basic necessities and enjoying life a little bit more. Maybe it was for me to be around my children more, right? I think we can all relate that. What is our, if you really look back and you look at your relationship, who'd you spend more time with, your father or your mother? Why? Because dad was out working.
Yeah, 24/7.
Where was that relationship? Could it have been better if the mindset was different? Absolutely, right? But back then, that's all they knew. So to me, it was like sort of, and I sort of got an ultimatum. I'm not going to lie, even from my wife, it's like, listen, I grew up in a pizza business and my dad was never around. I don't want that for my kids that we're going to raise. And not that I didn't love my dad or not that she didn't love her dad, but think of time is the same amount for everybody. And if you really think about that, don't you want to enjoy every facet of life, whether we're raising babies or children or all that kind of stuff? Like, don't you sort of want to be around? And, I think when she said that to me, it was like a little mind blowing because it was like, we were just digging. Like we were just working really hard. And it's like, oh my God, I got to be home for dinner. At the beginning, it's like, she doesn't get it that we're trying to work on the business. She doesn't see that we're trying to do something here. But at the same time, she was 100% right. Right? Like it's the balance of work life and what are you really trying to accomplish, I think.
How do you, Kosta? What are those few little nuggets you can give the listeners and how to accomplish? And I think I've been in your boat.
Create a why.
Create a why.
Create a why.
What do you mean?
What's your why? What keeps you motivated? What are your reasons? For mine, it's, for me to, that keeps me very motivated. Not do I only have, my immediate family, my wife, my 2 kids that I admire, all 3 of them, and especially with what's going on now, I admire their work and everything that, they're changing. Things flip for them 10 times more than they did for us, right? And how they adjusted and how do you prevent that in the future? But I think for me, my family is always going to be my why and staying motivated and honestly going home and seeing my kids and wife, and then my people meaning my first nickname, my employees, our staff, our customers, like it, they, even our clients call me Mr. Smiley because it's like, I'm not going to let anything bother me or, and I think everything can get solved if we all just sit there and we focus and we think outside the box to come to a solution. But I think working as a team, and I think if everybody has that right mindset, we feed off our clients. We work with some of the best people in the state. We're very fortunate enough with some of our clients. They're amazing. They're even our mentors for me, for my staff. And I think that is huge. Like if you work with the people with the same mindset and everybody's on the same page and are like-minded people, when they grow, you grow. When you grow, they grow. And I think that in general, like, we don't hate, we don't have any of that. We want to see everybody succeed.
It seems there's a major difference between like your mentality, maybe a lot of the people in our circle, they're not coming from the same position of maybe scarcity that someone, our dads, they came over here, you got to hustle. There's no bullshit around it. You got to go to work. Don't talk about balance. Don't talk about time. We got to survive. It's strictly straight up hardcore survivalist. And they're in that mode for the first year, 2 years, 10 years, 20 years, and then they never get out of it and they stay there. And then we look back and we're like, wait a second. I don't know you that much. I didn't spend enough time with you. I love you. I respect you. What you did for me, I could never do. I don't think I could repay, right? But we don't have that. We don't have that built-in scarcity. We're able to think a little bit more clearly and create that why for us. I don't think that generation is even thinking about the why. It's just automatic scarcity. Let's go. And I appreciate it.
Was obviously different, 100%. But I think those times were easier. I think these times are a lot more harder.
Why? Why is it harder?
It's not about lifestyle, but it's the things that are happening around us, and things change a lot faster, right? We all get overwhelmed with a million and one different X factors that are flowing in that can pull our thinking to a different avenue. So it's like I feel like it's
information overload.
Yeah, like look, everybody has a cell phone, and 9 out of 10 times when we're all out, I think all our heads are glued to it. I'm not going to lie. I'm probably one of them. I am one of them as well. Well, whether it's an email or something, but when have we ever put that down and just really focus on what's around us and taking that in? I think
there's this old story about the monk that's being chased through the forest. Have you ever heard of it? You've heard of it. Just for you listeners that haven't, and I'm going to probably mess this up a little bit. I'll butcher this, but the monk is being chased through the forest by a tiger or a lion or something. He gets through the forest, gets to the edge of a cliff. He starts climbing down the cliff. He's getting away from the tiger. He's like, hey, I'm scot-free. He looks down, there's another tiger at the bottom of the cliff getting ready to eat him. So he knows he's dead. Basically, it's over. And in that moment, he looks over and he sees some strawberries growing next to him, like on a vine. And he grabs a strawberry and he takes a bite. And he says, this is the greatest strawberry, the best tasting strawberry I've ever tasted, or something like that. And if you really think about that, it's a constant reminder. I had a friend of mine that was coaching me years ago, and he always reminded me. He would send me a text whenever things were going good. He's like, don't forget to taste the strawberry. Don't forget to taste the strawberry. And he was right on, man, with that. So Kosta, let me ask you, right now with First Nicks, where's your company right now? What's your entrepreneurial status? Like, what have you guys been up to?
So we're obviously still we're out of the residential markets. We're more into the commercial. Our typical clients are right now, direct to GC, direct to developers, institutions. That's
how did you transition, by the way, from residential, to commercial? Because this seems like a totally different animal.
I think this happened a long time ago when I really started to draw my dad, because we were looking for more. We stopped looking for seasonal work and we looked for more year-round work. And for that commercial was sort of the way to go back then, because most of the buildings are repaints and everything was inside. So we weren't chasing the exterior sort of stuff that my dad did on the residential. We just sort of switched that mindset and just said, okay, how do we start focusing a little bit? And literally it was just grinding, introductions, trying to, show people what our capabilities are and who we are and how we can do it and earn their trust. I think the same way we're trying to do it today. Nothing's hand given to us, and I think we deserve everything all our teams do and all our employees do. I think it's a lot of hard work that goes into it that we never talk about. Talking about this right now it is a little difficult, right? Because you never sit there. You're just so used to doing this, what you're supposed to do, what in your mindset is the right thing to do. And your purpose, and it's just to continue to do the best you can to the best of your abilities for clients. Do we make mistakes? Absolutely. Are we perfect? No. But do we learn from our mistakes and do we try getting better every single day? Yes. And I hope, which our clients appreciate that. We treat everything as our own. Like, we care about every single project. And I think our clients see that, our developers see that, our owners see that. There's no such thing as a large project. There's no such thing as a small project. At the end of the day, we wake up and we go to work and we're trying to be the best at what we can do every day.
Kosta, how important are the relationships you have with the GCs, with some of the other people in the trades? How important are these relationships to the life of First Nicks?
It's our bloodline.
It's your bloodline. How much of your business is based strictly on these relationships and referrals? I
would probably say anywhere between 90 to 95%.
See, that's remarkable, and that's something that, again, for you younger entrepreneurs that are listening to this, that are looking for the next click funnel that's going to bring them business, or you're looking for the next, catchy ad that's going to bring you business. This is a over 100-person company here in Boston that's taking on some of the coolest projects, and it's referral based. And for those of you that think you have to run an ad or a TV commercial for your business, you're very much mistaken. Some of the most, if not the most successful businesses that I know of, or the most successful entrepreneurs, are doing it through relationships. And everything else, digital marketing, all it's doing is augmenting that. That's all it's doing. It's just helping to connect more frequently with those relationships and maybe deeper with those relationships. That's it. And that's what's important. What does the future hold for First Nick?
Whatever we want it to be. As somebody told me, the skies are the limits.
Sky's the limit.
And I think to piggyback on your point is, there's no get rich sort of thing. You got to work hard. I think working hard day in and day out is the best thing that you can do to grow yourself and personal in your business. I think, and everything else will take its place. I think we don't look at where we're at and what we're doing. We're focused on what we need to do for the people we work for. I think that's our number one priority in general. You look at a building that's 20 stories or 2 stories or 4 stories or number of units. We don't look at it at all that way. For us, it's just, what do we need to do today? Whether it's painting one wall or installing, some sort of finished carpentry work. It doesn't matter how big or how small. It matters, what can we do today to make sure that we did the best we can for our clients, and that, they're moving in the right direction. So for us, the future is obviously to grow the business. Hands down, as now I look at it, it's to create something for my kids' future, right? What are we doing that our parents instilled in us that we can take those values and pass them on to our kids? And it's always a touchy subject, I'm not gonna lie, because we grew with family. And for us, that is like, you've gone this far and nothing's hand delivered. So this can be taken away with the snap of your fingers. And I think being passionate and loving what you do and working hard and having a great work ethic, because in this day and age, everybody's on the social media, everybody's on these sort of things, and thinking that there's the next big stock that's going to make me a millionaire and billionaire. And I'm so not about that. I'm so relationship driven. I love working with people. I think I'm admired to learning different things, like from yourself and our clients. And I think just having that vision saying, my God, there's never enough.
Do you have this? Have you always had this natural curiosity? You seem to have this curiosity. I see you sort of poking around, even in conversations, trying to like flip a stone over and see what's under it.
I'm always looking for nuggets. Call them what are our next nuggets? I started using that word because this year it seems like our kids eat a lot of those chicken nuggets and stuff like that, and they're going to school. And I just started saying, you know what? All we need is one nugget, guys. What's the next best thing? And I think it's investing in our people. I think we've been doing it all along. I think it's investing more in our people. I think for us in our clients, like it's so much harder now to meet up with somebody for a coffee or do what we used to do last year, a year ago in person and show somebody your appreciation. I think that's why we're gearing more towards the social aspect and we're working with you. It's because we appreciate that. And I think we can't say it enough. We can't thank people enough. We can't thank our clients enough. And, I think we admire them. Like they're very successful at what they do. They're amazing. Like I look at what our clients are doing and bigger clients are doing, and you're like, wow, we're nothing compared to those sorts of things, and that gives you like, I don't know, a drive. Like, wow, let's keep going. Like, this is fun.
This is fun.
And it is, you have to make it fun, right? If you don't like what you do, then you're in the wrong profession. You gotta love what you do, I think. And I think everything else would take its toll.
What excites you right now at your company? What excites you about business today, right now? There must be something.
Everything excites me every day. Seeing my kids grow up, obviously, I think right now is on a personal sort of standpoint, right? I think this year I got to be around. I was very fortunate enough to be around in a sad way, right? But because of COVID, I was able to be around more of my kids, right? I got to spend more time in watching them grow. And it was like, they're giving me a drive. I'm not going to lie to you. I think this past holiday, Martin Luther King, right? Well, right? Yeah. It was Martin Luther King. My son came to me the weekend and said, Daddy, I don't have school on Monday. Can I come with you to work? And I'm like,
no, yes.
And I look at my wife and she's like all smiles. I'm like, God, I'm gonna. And I'm like, are you sure? After I wake up early, he was all about it. I was like, and we talked about it all weekend. And literally Sunday before he went to bed, he goes, Dad, make sure you wake me up. I'm like, Stephen, I'll wake you up. If you don't feel like you want to go, you don't have to go anywhere. But isn't that your why? Isn't that your drive? That your kid admires you in an indirect way and sees the hard work that you put in? Then I'm sitting there saying, am I really putting in hard work? Like, look at what your mother has instilled in you guys. Look at all these values and I'm admiring my wife in return saying, wow, this is amazing. Like, kids used to go to school. Now you're sitting there being their teacher, you're being their parent, you're being a million and one different things. And I'm like, I'm taking my hat off to my wife saying, how do you do it? Day in and day out. But I think to me, that was like a fresh breath of air. It was like, things are starting to take, and I love that stuff. To me, it's not getting recognized for anything. It's not, I love seeing the people around me grow, and I love seeing my kids grow. I love seeing my family grow. I love seeing the business grow. I love seeing our clients being successful. And I think just being positive for people and putting that smile when guys are miserable out on a job site, whether it's snowing or raining or something bad really happened, it's like, guys, brush it off. Let's go. It doesn't giddy. Let's go. Let's move on. Because there's tougher things in life, man. We're here today. We're gone tomorrow. Like, let's enjoy every moment of it and let's have fun with it, because I think we've got to capture the good things, because all we get fed is bad news every day. Why add more? And I think growing our people and growing that, I think that's my goal. I think seeing and me developing, I've had great mentors around me. I'm beyond thankful, like on all different aspects of the business. I think for me, it's just like these people take their time out of their day and they're older and, sooner or later they might be retiring. And it's like, I want to be like you. I really do. Like you guys are great people.
It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Your ability to see the big picture, having Stefano wanting to go to work with you. I mean, I had a couple of those moments, over the years, before when I was in the office and I'm working from the house, but it was absolutely magical. And I still have pictures from when they were, sitting at desks, little guys that were teetering over. And, having your kids wanting to be part of that and making your day-to-day work part of something bigger, I think is really special, whether it's your employees, your family, your legacy. It's really awesome. And I'm soaking this up so much, and you bring a lot of positivity to the table, man. Just keep it coming. It's phenomenal. And I love it. And I think you're bringing a lot of positivity to the listeners here. Not everything is about the P&L. Obviously, you got to make a living. Not everything is about maximizing profits. Again, we get it. You got to make a living. You got to have a healthy business. That's a given. But think about the bigger picture, the ability to build a sustainable business on relationships and caring and, passing something on to your kids, or even the ability to pass it on to your kids. Maybe they don't want to be part of it, but just the option. I mean, it's awesome. So many people are like, I'm going to build this business to sell it for, multiples of EBITDA and all this stuff. And all right, I get it. There's nothing wrong with that. But imagine being able to pass it on. One of the great tragedies is when a little kid sees their family sell a family business, because they don't think in numbers. They just want to be part of the team. It's almost
and honestly, you see yourself, right? You see your own reflection of when you were a kid and you admired some of the things maybe your dad did. And I think those are the values that 20 or 30 years later you're seeing them directly being on the tables reversed. Now, I just want to take those in a better way, right, than maybe what our parents did, because maybe they didn't know how to do it. So I think for me, it's like, I don't know, we all get caught up in so many different things. And I think, just doing the right thing this day and age has gone a long way, and working hard has gone out the window a little bit. Some people get it, some people don't, and some people think they're entitled and all that kind of stuff. But it's like, and I'm out on field with tons of different people, right? Just because I own the company doesn't mean anything different. Just because I'm a president of this company the title doesn't mean anything to me. Like there's no flag going on our end, like sitting there holding President of First Nick, or, this is what we accomplished. None of that. I think it's just having that mindset. And I think, that's my biggest sort of thing that I always tell people: just work hard. And I think everything with time will take its place in toll, and you'll get to where you want to get to. But sometimes don't dwell on the small things. Don't think something needs to be perfect. Like, just chip away at it.
Just chip away at it.
That's it. And one day we'll learn something from it. Like I picked up golf. Like, Jesus Christ, the Greek golf. Imagine that. Like, Jesus, we used to play Goya basketball, and we were so dedicated at getting better. Now it's like, that's my quality time with my kids.
That's phenomenal.
Like, wow. I'm Greek. I don't know anything about the sport, but it's like, if I chip away at it every day and I learn one thing, and I tell everybody that I go, friends, clients, or whatever, they got me all into it, and now it's a great relationship sort of thing between myself and my son. It's like, guys, I'm not a professional. I'm telling you right out of the gate, I need you to teach me something today. And you're like, all right, cool, let's do it.
It seems like you're able to swallow your ego, or like put aside your ego. And that's a trait, your ability to be curious, but your ability to like put aside your ego and something you don't know and be willing to ask for help to get into something like golf. I'm with you, by the way. I learned how to golf like 2 years ago, and it was, I just went out there. I wore the wrong shoes. I had the wrong outfit. It was bad, man. Like golf clubs, I don't know what I was doing. And I was, I asked for help though. But at first, I had to like put aside my ego for a little bit, because I'm not the guy. But most people that have achieved anything great had to start from zero. They had to ask for help. They had to have the proper coaches. You have to do this stuff. And if you have an ego, it's going to get in the way and you're going to get smoked. And your curiosity combined with your lack of ego, man, I think this is your formula. Combine that with hard work and why you guys are doing really good stuff, and you're gonna be able to leave this really cool legacy for your employees, your families, your managers. It's phenomenal. Kosta, it was really fun having you on the show. You always bring something positive to the table. I love talking to you. I have a blast, man. I hope we can do this again ASAP. And thanks for bringing such goodness to the table. For those that want to get in touch with Kosta, guys, network with Kosta. Kosta is all over Instagram. He's all over LinkedIn. I love connecting with him digitally there because you might have more connections than even me. You're unbelievable. How can people contact you? How can they reach you?
Any avenue, doesn't, personal business, whatever it is, I'd love to meet and talk to anybody. I'm all about either grabbing a coffee or having like a Zoom meeting going forward, and just picking each other's brain, finding what that next nugget is. And, I think we can all learn something from each other, and I'm wide open. Let's do it. Phenomenal,
man. Guys, check out Kosta at firstnick.com. And thank you for coming on the show. See you, Kosta.
You got it. Thank you. Bye-bye.